If you enjoy the content on this channel, please like and subscribe. Love Lies Bleeding is a 2024 romantic thriller film directed by Rose Glass from the screenplay she co-wrote with Weronika Tofilska. It is a co-production between the United Kingdom and the United States. The film stars Kristen Stewart, Katy O'Brian, Jena Malone, Baryshnikov, Franco and Ed Harris. Set in 1989, the plot follows the relationship between a reclusive gym manager who's part of a crime family and an ambitious bodybuilder. Love Lies Bleeding premiered at the Sundance Film Festival on January 20, 2024 and was released theatrically by A24 on March 8, 2024. The film received generally positive reviews from critics. The film is a co-production between A24 and Film 4. It is the second film to be directed by English filmmaker Rose Glass, after the 2019 film Saint Maud. Kristen Stewart first mentioned her involvement in the film in March 2022, as she was a fan of Glass's previous work. Her casting then was confirmed in April of that year. Katy O'Brian then later said in an interview that she had auditioned for the part, her first leading role, 6 times. Principal photography began in Albuquerque, New Mexico in June 2022. Production concluded in August of that year. Some interesting trivia notes. Ed Harris originally wore very long hair extensions as a joke, but the director decided to keep them in the film. Like her character, Jackie, Katy O'Brian used to be a competitive bodybuilder in real life. Katy O'Brian learnt about the role through social media when a fan sent her a post with a casting call for a queer bodybuilder. The film premiered to a standing ovation at the 2024 Sundance Film Festival. The film then began test screening in February of 2023. According to one account, the audience was having visceral reactions to the gore, blood and puking throughout during a screening in New York City. Ed Harris and Jena Malone also played father and daughter in Stepmom in 1998, opposite Susan Sarandon and Julia Roberts. Alondra Chapman, who stands stage left of Katy O'Brian during the competition, is a real competitive bodybuilder. She is a 3-time champion of the Natural Olympia for INBA and PNBA. Kristen Stewart and Jena Malone both previously appeared in the film Into the Wild, released in 2007. Katy O'Brian, who has Crohn's disease, had a scar tissue surgically removed from her small intestine before filming. Crohn's disease is a type of inflammatory bowel disease. It causes swelling of the tissues or inflammation in your digestive tract, which can lead to abdominal pain, severe diarrhea, fatigue, weight loss, and malnutrition. The title comes from the plant's name, Amphorathus caudatus. Now I found this to be an absolutely original, phenomenal piece of filmmaking. I love plots which twist and turn and are completely and utterly unpredictable. You never quite know where the story is going to go or how it will unfold. And this is definitely a film that will linger long within the memory and will truly prove unforgettable. This is a film that combines lust with unadulterated violence, all set to the wonderful 80s backdrop, with a superb score here by Clint Mansell, most famous for his score work with Darren Aronofsky, most notably on Black Swan and The Wrestler. The score adds a haunting 80s mix to the backdrop of the film and just adds another layer. It's here that I must compliment Rose Glass's direction. I found this to be an exceptional piece of directing work here, from the use of camera shots, wide and close-up angles, use of colour of course at times, for example red-tinged scenes and the close-ups on Ed Harris's jaded and wrinkled face, which adds a sense of brooding horror. Not to mention the way she captures Katy O'Brian's flexing, and just the relationship and intimacy between the two lead characters. This is an artist painting a canvas and truly using the visual medium of film to show her flair and unique vision. The acting too is absolutely superb in this one. Ed Harris is at his menacing best and is one of those actors that can literally play any type of character role without ever really putting a foot wrong. Kristen Stewart is an actress that really surprises me, from the Twilight series she did back in the day, where she was frankly just quite awful, to an actress who's really turned her career around, almost like her co-star in that film, Robert Pattinson. Both of these two have gone on to do such artistic, creative and independent films and have really found their niche as interpretive actors. After a superb performance in Spencer, I quite enjoyed her role in this one as the reclusive gym manager who has a sordid past with a complicated family. She of course then meets and later falls in love with Jackie Cleaver, a rising bodybuilder, unfortunately introducing her to steroids. Now Katy O'Brian is absolutely perfectly cast for the role, and for me she is the complete and utter standout of the film. You just cannot take your eyes off of her. She's absolutely fascinating, bewildering, and excellent within the role. And when you look up Katy's background, namely that she was a police officer for 7 years, has a black belt in Hapkido, was a personal trainer and competed in bodybuilding figure competitions, She really in many ways is the perfect casting for the role here of Jackie Cleaver. Even the performance here of Anna Baryshnikov, the daughter of the famed actor and ballet dancer Mikhail Baryshnikov, turns out an excellent performance here as Daisy, a naive lady who's absolutely obsessed with Lou. The film is dark, sordid and twisted, and can be incredibly violent at times, but the story is unpredictable as it weaves and turns and keeps you absolutely riveted, fascinated and intrigued. Some people criticize some of the more outlandish scenes that director Rose Glass chose to use, namely the sort of hulking out moments that Jackie has, like vomiting out a fully grown Lou during a steroid-induced psychosis. Of course, the end where Jackie comes to save Lou and grows to gigantic size and pins down Lou Sr. But I quite like this sort of artistic interpretation, as obviously it's a complete representation of what the drugs were doing to their minds and how they are hallucinating. And also, it's an artistic representation of what roid rage, as it's known, namely the effects of abuse of steroids can have on you. And Glass is almost giving us a first-hand interpretation of this literal explosion within the body, as it were. All in all, I found this to be a fantastically interpretive, phenomenally interesting, stunningly acted and beautifully directed film that will leave you breathless at times with its unpredictable, wild, yet fascinating storyline that plays off beautifully from the 80s setting and leads us into a fascinating new world of a small-town conflict and a wonderfully unique and engaging story with some stunning character arcs and a very dark and gritty plot. With its excellent visuals, superb acting, unique and original storyline, this is a film that you will never forget. Love Lies Bleeding gets a 9.5 out of 10.